Hello guys, welcome back to M&T Entertainment Podcast. My name is Marcus. This is
Tony.
Today we're going to be talking about Loki Season 1, and we're going to do a review for you guys. We're doing a review on Season 1 because
Season 2 is coming up.
So right now we're just going to jump into a little background on Loki. Loki was born a frost giant. He was taken by Odin, and Odin, I guess, felt sorry for him. The frost giants just kept Loki by himself, so he took him and he raised him as his own son, along with Thor. That's pretty much the background of Loki.
So where we last left off, Loki was Avengers Endgame. And Endgame, Tony and the crew ended up doing the time travel thing. They messed up chunking that timeline.
Okay.
So it tells us what happened after Loki picked up that Tesseract. This Loki spin-off is going from there, from the events of Endgame. What did you think of Loki Season 1?
So what I think of Loki Season 1, I would give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Oh damn, that's pretty high, man.
Because I think they gave Loki a great story arc. They developed his character pretty well. He started off as one point of the show and then ends a whole nother. By the end of the season, he's like a whole different person. So what do you think of it?
Remember, I had told you way back that I didn't want to watch Loki.
Yes, you did. Remember you said you hated it.
No, yeah, I thought it was garbage. But alright, so I'll tell you why I thought it was garbage. So before I even watched it, I had heard reviews from other channels, and like a lot of people gave it negative reviews. Like a lot of the thumbnails said it was bad, it was garbage, it was trash. And without even ever sitting down and watching it, I kind of based my thing off that. Some of the points that they made are kind of valid to a certain degree, but after actually sitting down and watching it, I thought it was good. I take back what I said, Turns out it's not garbage. Yeah, what they did with his character was alright. Now, there are points that I didn't like about it, but it leads into the whole bigger thing of where they're going into the MCU.
Which we will discuss later.
Yeah.
How we feel about where the MCU is going. But as of now...
Yeah, like if I had to rate it, one out of how many fingers?
Out of 10 fingers.
10 fingers, I give it it's a high score for my eyes. I give it like 7 out of 10 fingers.
Okay, 7. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
7's good. Yeah. Okay, coming from you, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it was good.
So from now, we're gonna go into
episode 1, Glorious Purpose,
and it pretty much starts off as it shows when Loki first escapes from the Avengers, and he
grabbed the Tesseract.
Yes, he got the Tesseract and he disappears. He transports to a desert,
Mongolia
desert.
Yeah, it was Mongolia,
and he's almost immediately captured by the Timekeepers, the TVA.
Yeah, so we get introduced straight away to the TVA. Yeah, Loki was trying to do his things like, oh, I'm going to rule over here and all this nonsense, right?
He tried to use his powers and something, but the lady just cold knocked him out. Yeah. Even the slow motion, that was like, I like that effect right there.
So straight away, he gets captured by the TVA, the Time Variance Authority.
Yes, and it's taken back to the headquarters where he is booked in, and he was just giving them hell the whole process of him getting booked in, which was making it more difficult for himself too. Okay, so after Loki goes through the process,
Loki's gonna get locked up.
Yeah, he goes to the judge.
Judge Judy.
What's her name? Fiona or something.
No, her name is Judge Dredd.
Her name is Banana?
Ravonna? Shit. Judge Renslayer. Okay, so Judge Renslayer.
After Loki goes through the whole process of getting into the TVA, he meets Judge Renslayer. He finds out from Judge Renslayer that his escape from the Avengers wasn't supposed to happen. So that's why...
Yeah, she said something about the sacred timeline, right?
Yes, the sacred timeline. And that's why they picked his ass up in the desert.
He tried to use his magical powers. He kept trying to use
he kept trying to use his magical powers to escape the TVA.
Yeah.
But then they started laughing at him because he couldn't, his powers, and Judge Renslayer told him that powers are no good there.
So it turns out inside the TVA you can't use your powers and other stuff.
Yes, a lot of other stuff they find out that's worthless there too.
It's not cool. It's not cool, by the way.
Okay. So after that, We get to meet Mobius. Okay, so after Loki finds out he can't use his powers,
He's sentenced.
And he is sentenced to get pruned, which prune means they pretty much erase him from that particular time. They erase him from that particular timeline. They say he's gonna get pruned. Prune means pretty much kind of kill you off.
Yeah, they're gonna whack him off.
Okay, so after that, he meets with Mobius.
Yeah, Mobius saved his life.
Mobius pretty much saves his life. He takes him back to his office, pretty much go over Loki's whole timeline.
He brings Mobius into this interrogation room, and so Mobius and Loki sit down. Loki, he doesn't want to believe him, right? He's not having none of that. Loki still believes he has a purpose and he's gonna be the God of Mischief or whatever. But that's not how this is gonna work. And Loki denies it as much as he can, but he's gonna figure out that he's screwed here.
Cause pretty much Mobius shows Loki his whole entire timeline to even when he dies.
He denies it. The whole time he denies it. From there, I think he ends up running away, right?
Yes, he ends up trying to run away. Mobius was using his time controls to keep bringing him back. After that, Loki pretty much just gave up and kind of just went on with it.
Not entirely.
Yeah, not entirely.
No, because you kind of skipped a bit. This is a very important bit. And this is the bit that I didn't like. All right, so another agent comes in. I forget her name.
Name is Agent B-15.
B-15?
B-15, that's her name.
Okay, so Agent
B-15.
She comes in and it gives Loki a chance. Steal the time device thing that Mobius was using to control him, and Mobius from there. It gives Loki a chance to get away, and he goes straight for the Tesseract because when he got captured by the TVA, they also took the Tesseract. Right, it's that blue cube that he thought was all powerful. The Tesseract is inside of an office, the way they do paperwork.
In the front office. Where this guy who doesn't even know what a fish is.
Because Loki threatens him, he's like, I'm gonna gut you like a fish. And it's like, what's a fish?
Loki's demanding for this Tesseract. Yeah. And the guy shows him, he opened a drawer up.
Yeah, and that's what we get to see, that inside this drawer, it's full of Infinity Stones.
Yes.
The Tesseract is also there. Loki is like, these are all Infinity Stones. And that's where we get that important line where the guy says, these are all paperweights. And that part I didn't like.
So you don't like the fact that they depowered the Infinity Stone?
He escapes, and then he gets the Tesseract, finds out it's useless, and then he ends up back into the interrogation room with Mobius.
I think Mobius wasn't in there, but then Mobius comes in after Loki. I already kind of looked back through the videos and saw that he dies at the end. At the hands of Thanos. Yeah,
he got to see his death.
Yeah, he got to see his future death.
There was a piece about B.D. Cooper. Loki was B.D. Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
B.D. Cooper is a guy who ended up stealing a whole bunch of money, doing a big heist. He ended up hijacking a plane and ended up demanding a whole bunch of money for it. He got away with it. In Loki season 1, they said Loki was B.D. Cooper. Yeah. To this day, nobody knows
who B.D. Cooper
is.
Where he went.
Yeah, but it was cool. It's unrelated, but it was still cool. It's a good little part of the show.
I had to look up B.D. Cooper when I first saw that. I was like, "Who the heck is that?"
No,
I found out it was a real story.
Yeah. No, that's why I thought. That's why I liked that. I liked a little bit about it that they ended up showing. But also, outside of Loki seeing his death, going back to the main thing, outside of Loki seeing his death, he saw that he was also responsible for his mom's death. Those two things, I think, really changed this Loki. Don't you think?
I think so. His demeanor did kind of change to where he started feeling kind of guilt that he caused his mom death unintentionally. Because he was, I think, in the whole scenario that he was trying to get Thor, he sent the guards to Thor, the evil men to Thor. But this was in the second Thor where the Dark Elves. He thought he had sent the Dark Elves to Thor, but he really sent him to his mom's room.
So Loki ended up killing his mom, not directly, but
unintentionally.
Yeah, unintentionally. It's pretty fucked up, but you could see it. It affected this Loki now,
right?
Because he didn't know that. So up until that point, he never knew that.
I think this is you're right. I think it's this kind of start of him trying to feel a certain way because he knows that he was wrong.
It's a character development.
Yeah, this is the start of the character development with him.
Yeah, because then it goes into him after seeing all this and seeing his own death, he's like, these guys were right. My timeline, my timeline actually ended. I wasn't supposed to go off the beaten path and all that. Right? Is that where the first episode kind of ended?
Yeah, that's pretty much where it kind of ended at.
He realizes, shit, I'm not supposed to be here right now. Yeah, that was good. This was a pretty good start.
Episode 2 is called The Variant.
Mobius ends up explaining to him why.
Yeah, after he got explained by Mobius about why the TVA needs his help, and they kind of explained about this other variant of him that's going out there that's killing others, Loki agrees with the TVA to help them capture the Loki variant. He goes back to his desk and does some research. So he finds out that Asgard was destroyed in the files, it was scored in the Ragnarok event. And then he also finds out that where the Loki variant is hiding, they're hiding in Apocalypse. Every time they're hiding a particular part of the time where the Apocalypse is happening, so the Timekeepers won't track that person because they know that that particular event is going to destroy. It doesn't matter what's going to happen because it's going to get destroyed. So that's why they're hiding there. The Timekeepers are not going to look there. So as he figured that part out, then he ran back to Mobius to say he went to go tell Mobius that he came up with the plan and where the variant is hiding. But Mobius wasn't giving him the time of day at first, but then he finally...
saying Mobius.
Mobius wasn't giving him the time of day at first, but he decided to go ahead and listen to him, and then he...
Is this a part where he tests his theory and they go to Pompeii? Yes, I like that.
That's exactly what happened. So.
Yeah, he tells him, take me to an apocalypse. Okay, Loki. The reason why also Loki decided to help Mobius was because he thought he could get a meeting with the Timekeeper. Now, at this point, I kind of noticed that this is just my note. I don't know if you saw it or if you thought about it. I kind of realized that the Timekeepers were probably not a real thing.
No, I didn't think about that at the time.
When I mean, it's early into the episodes, but it was this whole big promise of I might get to see or get to talk to the Timekeepers. I'm like, why they keep bringing that up? But it popped into my head, the Timekeepers might not be real. That's just the point that I saw.
Next scene, they go to the store, Best Buy.
The Best Buy,
where they come up with hatch a plan to try to catch this Loki variant. B-15 she started acting weird that she wanted to watch Loki instead of called Mobius wanted everybody to split up, and he was...
But I thought she wasn't acting weird. She just didn't trust Loki. No, what you talking about when she started acting weird was later.
No, she started acting weird, period, to me.
Really?
Yeah, because Mobius been having Loki with him the whole time. All of a sudden, she want him. I mean, he's been with Loki this entire time.
That lady just didn't trust Loki.
Oh, yes. Okay, so she didn't trust Loki, so she wanted Loki to be with her. So they all split up. Then after that,
that's where we get introduced to the other Loki. Turns out the other Loki, he's using weird manipulation powers of like some green energy shit, possessing people like a fucking ghost, ghosting people.
So this Loki took control of B-15. Mobius on another part of so Mobius found out that C-20.
Who is C-20?
C-20 is another Timekeeper agent.
Yeah, she had been taken hostage by the Loki variant.
And they found her. Was she talking, saying that
it's real? So she was saying it's real.
She just real. Babbling on. It's real. It's real.
So they thought she had gone crazy or something. Being taken hostage from the other Loki.
Flip back to Loki. They finally meet. Loki finally gets to meet.
But that's where we get the big reveal. This Loki had possessed other people, right? Went into this fight scene and all that stuff. That's where we get introduced who this Loki is, right? And the Loki is?
It turned out to be a female version of Loki named Sophie.
Sylvie.
Oh, Sylvie.
So
they do a reveal of the...
Sylvie.
Sylvie is a female version of Loki. Yeah. And she proceeds to kick Loki's ass, pretty much, in that whole scene.
Okay,
they go back and forth.
So this is where a lot of the other reviewers were complaining about this female Loki was OP and stuff. And it goes into another whole point later down the road. You kind of see it. This girl Loki is like overpowered, and she's like OP and all this good shit. And like she knows how to do all that, and she's like the best of the best. That's what the other reviewers were saying. And why she was bad was because she's overpowered. But there's a reason why they were saying that is because recently in like the Marvel stuff, it's all about growth. girl power and all that stuff. They're trying to make all the girls more powerful, right? So they end up fighting.
They end up fighting, and she proceeds to kick Loki ass. Using her, they both got to use some of their powers. Loki just seemed like he couldn't really do anything, really. Powers just seemed useless with her.
Yeah, he kept getting his ass beat.
Yep.
That goes back to what I'm saying. Or what they were saying.
Right.
It was like he kept getting his ass beat by this girl, right?
And then eventually, Loki finished fighting. Sylvie ends up setting off the time bombs, which erases that whole part from the timeline.
She activated her thing to drop bombs into all these random different timelines. So where they would do what you were saying is erase a whole bunch of shit, right?
Right from the timeline.
And she did that to cause chaos or distract them from what she was trying to do.
And then Loki was trying to convince her to team up together.
He's trying to convince her to team up. He keeps thinking that he's gonna get a chance to meet the Timekeepers, right?
So he tried to convince her to team up. They end up leaving together. Of course, Mobius catching them right at the end when Loki decides to go along with her. They both escape through one of those teleporters.
Yeah, the weird portal doors.
And that's pretty much where the episode ends.
Yeah. Alright, episode 3, Lamentus.
The Mischief kind of starts off with Loki and Sylvie together. Pretty much this episode kind of sets up their relationship with each other. They first start off hating each other. They was kind of one up each other with everything. Even Sylvie tried to use her powers on Loki, her mind control powers on Loki, and it couldn't work.
yeah, because she has to touch people.
And he was like, "What are you doing?" So her powers weren't working on him.
Yeah.
And then they kind of start to get to know each other after everything kind of settled down between them.
Yeah, they had brunch and all that good stuff. Had a couple of drinks. It was a good time.
Yeah, they decided to call a truce with each other.
For the meantime. Good.
For the meantime, yes.
Yeah, because they kind of accidentally ended up into that Lamentus place.
Yes.
Right, because they wasn't intentionally trying to go there.
They end up on a train. So this train, from how I gathered, is going through Lamentus. They're drinking.
What is Lamentus?
Yeah, what is Lamentus?
So Lamentus is this place and the moon is about to crash. And they're riding the train because the train is going to take them into an arc.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're going to the arc. So while they're on this train, they start to have a good time, try to relax. They got to know each other.
Well, Loki does what he normally does. He drinks a lot. Has a good time.
Yeah. Sylvie falls asleep to get her rest, but Loki said he gets his rest another way. So he goes drinking. He goes on a drinking.
Yeah.
So end up getting kind of drunk and just dancing around.
Oh, he's Loki, man.
Loki drunk.
He's gonna have a good time.
Well, she's Loki too.
It's a different Loki.
Yeah.
This Loki enjoys sleeping or something.
Yes. So he got drunk and was dancing and singing along with the people on the board of the train.
I mean, I can relate to both Loki. But
so as she wakes up, she sees him dancing, confronts him.
One of the rich people there that are supposed to be on the train, he gets mad and he goes to complain to one of the security guards, and they ended up getting busted. And that's why this whole fight scene breaks down between Loki and Sylvie and the train guard.
So they eventually end up
getting thrown out the plane.
Loki gets tossed out the window. And Sylvie just decides to go and jump out with Loki.
Well, she follows him. She follows him because he has the little iPad that can.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he has that.
He has the little iPad. I don't know what the hell they're. But they're little devices that help him go through portals to get him between the TVA and back.
Yeah, and once
through time and stuff.
Once they're out there, after they get thrown out the train, they kind of throw a pity party about being stuck.
Because when Loki got thrown out the train, the device got broke. Right.
She was mad at him about that. So she went to go sit down. She was pouting.
Well, no, she did her whole
that's a big pouting thing. She was like threw a temper tantrum, basically. A superpower temper tantrum.
Well, he sat next to her, and then they kind of talked about it. He's like, "Yeah, we can still get out of here if we go hijack the Ark."
Yes,
pretty much.
So they go take a walk, and they go and start walking towards the Ark, and that's kind of where it left off.
They walked pretty fast, though.
They did.
So they end up where the Ark is supposed to take off. And then they try to hijack the Ark, but their whole plan goes to shit because the moon is gonna crash into the planet, right? Loki and Sylvie decide to hijack the Ark, but it all goes wrong because part of the moon, a chunk of the moon, ends up crashing into the Ark. They're fucked at this point. They can't They can't go anywhere. At that point, yeah, they gave up. The two of them will go sit down, and then they end up talking, and something happens with it.
Yeah, they start kind of liking each other. They start kind of almost, I guess you can say, falling in love with each other. The whole thing of them being together causes some type of cosmetic like event, like time event.
Because there's a big spike in the timeline. And that's how
the TVA found them, because they saw, they was monitoring it, and they saw this big timeline kind of spoke.
Yeah, this big spike just go off. They weren't expecting that.
The TVA pops up and captures Loki and Sylvie.
That's pretty much the end of episode 3, which leads us to episode 4.
Episode 4 is the Nexus Event. So after the TVA sees the spike, they know exactly where to find Loki. So they pop up and they capture them and bring them back to Timekeeper's headquarters.
Previously, Sylvie had mentioned something to Loki that Sylvie, she just mentioned at the top of her head, right? To Loki. The girl that she had captured earlier, the agent that they got back,
C20.
Yeah, it turns out Sylvie had gone into her mind, C20's mind, and she saw past memories. And Sylvie said to herself, yeah, I can go into people's mind and enchant them. I can't recreate memory. We get a truth revealed about the TBO origins. It turns out C20 is a variant, but not just her. All of the TVA agents are variant. Loki, he noticed that.
Speaking of that, piggyback off of that, Loki, after they get caught, Loki tries to tell Mobius that
the TVA is lying to him.
Yeah, TVA is lying to him. But of course, Mobius don't believe him at first. And then he sends Loki into this time loop between Loki and Sylvie, where he cuts her hair off, and she finds out it's him, and she proceeds to kick his butt every time she sees.
So the girl that Sylvie ended up taking hostage, they said that she went crazy, right? Mobius kept asking what happened to C20. She was okay when we met her at the Best Buy liquor store. Not okay, but she was talking to us. But Renslayer said, no, she went crazy, so we had to get rid of her. It's what she told Mobius. But because of what Loki had said to him, he was questioning the judge, what Renslayer was saying to him. The whole time he was like, okay, what is going on?
Meanwhile, B-15, she's dealing with Sylvie on the other side, and she noticed that when Sylvie took over her mind, started to seeing some memories that she didn't notice before.
So she saw a memory in her past, right? And she believes what the other chick was saying. The other one that got taken hostage.
She believes Sylvie now when she tells her that the TVA is lying to them because she forced the experience with when she took over her body. So all in all, B-15 starts to believe the whole thing about the Timekeeper's lying. Mobius goes to Judge Ringslayer, right? And he tries to go, he starts to believe that the Timekeepers are lying.
The reason he goes and talks to her was trying to see if she's going to tell him the truth. And she doesn't. She's going to keep lying to him. Yeah. That's right.
And then so he ended up taking her time remote.
The little iPad.
The little iPad, yeah.
Just call it an iPad.
Yeah, he switched his iPad with her iPad.
Yeah.
And then he took it somewhere and got some more info.
That's where he found out what happened to C20, because C20 was saying, no, it's real. I know what I saw. Y'all had kidnapped me from my previous life. And well, C20 confirmed all of us were ovarian.
So after he discovers all that information, Renslayer and her crew kind of pops up because she kind of knew, she kind of guess he found a tracking of where Mobius was with her iPad.
This a big thing actually goes down because Mobius ends up helping Loki break out of the time loop.
Yes, he ends up taking him out.
Renslayer kills.
She prunes Mobius.
Yeah, she prunes Mobius.
So, and Loki thinks he's dead. When I first watched, I thought he was too.
Yeah, I thought it was gone.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty fucked up.
That's pretty much what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that Mobius is dead for the time being. By this time, B-15 decides she's going to help Loki and Sylvie. She leads them to where the Timekeepers are.
Yeah, so finally, Loki, Sylvie, and Renslayer, the judge, she takes them down to meet the Timekeepers. Loki gets what he wanted. He wanted to finally meet the Timekeepers. Yep. Yeah, meet the Timekeepers.
The Timekeepers are saying some stuff I didn't really... They start, I guess, they kind of go through why, that they've been causing trouble and all that stuff. That the Timekeepers are not...
Well, full of shit.
They're not real.
Yeah,
So,
it was all a lie.
It happens because Sylvie throws her knife or sword at one of the timekeepers and chops the head off.
Yeah, it decapitates one of the timekeepers. His head rolls down.
Yeah, it's a robotic head.
This whole battle also had gone down between Loki, Sylvie, and the guards, Renslayer and her guards. Right, so they ended up kind of getting knocked out. Loki starts to try to explain to Sylvie, yo, we caused the spike earlier and blah blah blah. There's a reason for it.
He was gonna try to tell her that he love her.
Yeah.
That's when
He gets pruned.
he gets pruned by
Renslayer gets yeah, why do these people not confirm that you like either killed somebody or after you knock them out? Like, don't go over the edge, man. Come on. I mean,
they're not really dead. That's
well, outside of like this main story points, after you like, at least me, if I was about to like try to figure out all these, I make sure they're dead. Right?
Yeah.
Right? You know,
yeah,
okay, you knocked them out, alright, but like go finish the job or something before you. Sylvie ended up knocking out Renslayer, right? And then Renslayer ended up getting out and pruning Loki, right? Yeah, if Sylvie had like finished Renslayer,
they did because they didn't want her. She wasn't supposed to die yet.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's story shit, but alright, whatever.
So after Loki gets pruned, that's pretty much kind of the end of that episode because Sylvie thinks Loki is dead, and that kind of episode's kind of ends.
Alright, so that takes us into the next episode.
The next episode, Journey into Mystery.
Episode 5.
So this scene opened up already directly after the last episode, after Loki gets pruned.
Sylvie she's about to kill her, and then Renslayer was like, alright, finish the job. She's like, nah, alright, tell me everything. I want to know everything about the TVA, blah blah blah. So she ends up talking to Renslayer about what is going on. She tries to get the truth.
Her and Sylvie could not come into agreement. Sylvie takes off running. Renslayer runs right after her with her goons. End up cornering Sylvie in this room. Where Sylvie saw that she couldn't get out, so she decided to prune herself.
Yeah, but I wanted to bring up, before she did that, I think Renslayer had mentioned something about her being alone or something. When was the last time you ever remembered something good? Sylvie remembered the last good moment she had was her and Loki. So I think that's what made her
prune herself
because she was like,
so she said right at this point she thinks Loki is dead, so she might well just go and kill herself to go be with him.
That was my that was my thought process.
So in a way she did end up doing that, because wherever she pruned herself took her to wherever Loki went to.
So that takes us to what happens to anybody who gets pruned, right? So it turns out when you get pruned, you don't die. I thought this whole time. When you get pruned, I think
everybody did at first. So it turns out that you go into this whole...
You go into the void.
You go to the void, and the void is pretty much a place. Time kind of stops, right? Where it's like it doesn't go anywhere. Like after that, it's almost like an end of the timeline, because
the void is where anything that is not on the sacred timeline gets sent to the void.
Loki got sent there, as well as Mobius got sent there.
Well, not just Loki, but all the other Lokis.
Everybody who got pruned, including all the Lokis that got captured.
Yeah.
He meets some more variants of himself. Like it was about 4 or 5 of them, including the alligator Loki, which that was kind of hilarious when I first heard it.
That part was weird, but yeah, we get introduced to Kid Loki, classic Loki, Gator Loki,
even Black Loki.
Black Loki. I don't know.
I never even heard of that one. So he meets all of them. They take him to where they're staying at, which is like underground. Our Loki asks the kid what was his event, what made him, and they said he killed Thor. Yeah, but do you know how he ended up killing Thor? No, he didn't explain it.
But what I do end up hearing about it is Kid Loki turned into a snake and ended up biting Thor and killing Thor. Is what I think I heard about it, but I could be wrong.
And then once they get down there, they talk to Loki. Everybody kind of introduces themselves.
The whole gator bit was
then the gator. The gator got pissed off when somebody disrespected. So Loki, I guess he was about to try to leave out after they did their little story time, and he opens up he runs into like another Loki. President Loki, yes, and his crew. He forces him to go back down, and
as Lokis do, they all end up betraying each other and This big old scheme
they
of
just start
Loki's killing Loki.
A whole big fight breaks out.
Yeah.
And the President Loki gets his arm bit off by alligator Loki.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you kind of jump back to Sylvie. She wakes up and she's in the void as well. I think that's when the big cloud comes. Elia. I'm just gonna say cloud monster.
Yeah, the cloud monster.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, though. So she sees the cloud monster. It starts chasing her. She noticed that when the cloud monster get close to her, she's able to use her powers on it as she's running.
Her enchantment
powers. Yeah. So she gets away, but she almost gets caught. But then she sees a car coming in the distance, and it's coming to try to help her.
It's Mobius.
Yeah, Mobius. The car comes to save her. They just took off one direction. Then while she was in the car, she talked Mobius to turn back around because she said she knows how she can handle the cloud monster because she felt like she was able to use her powers on it. So they turned the car back around. And as they trying to go back towards the cloud monster, they end up meeting Loki because Loki came up with a plan to go towards the cloud monster himself.
Yes,
along with
half-assed plan.
Yeah, it was. Along with classic Loki and Kid Loki and Alligator Loki.
Kid Loki and classic Loki said they're gonna take him to the cloud monster, but up to a certain point, they're not gonna help him after that. It's what they first said. Yeah, so they all go.
They all end up meeting up. Classic Loki, Kid Loki, Sylvie, and Mobius all end up meeting. And then Loki talks about his plan, and Sylvie mentions her plan as well.
Well, no, Sylvie knows all. So Sylvie's got a better plan than Loki.
Yeah, her plan is way better. Because hers actually has some action doing where she can use her powers. Kid Loki and Alligator Loki were gone.
And classic Loki. No, all three of them took
all three of them left.
It was just Loki and Sylvie.
Mobius.
Sylvie gave him the iPad. She gave him the iPad and he went back to the TVA.
He did leave. Cause at one point it was them three, and then she ended up giving them that. He takes off.
So it was just pretty much. So girl Loki and guy Loki gonna go against the giant purple cloud monster.
Mm-hmm.
That was gonna do big. They didn't know what the hell it was gonna do, but that was gonna do it. Some enchantments. The purple cloud monster is a guard dog for what is really behind the TVA. You know, after you find out that timekeepers are fake, Sylvie and Loki want to find out who is actually behind the TVA. The cloud monster is guarding who is behind that. So from there we go into...
This cloud monster does come towards them. Loki tries to deflect it towards him because it was going towards Sylvie, but it started getting too overwhelming for both of them. And then that's when you have classic Loki.
Yes.
Comes out of nowhere and uses his powers.
I like that scene though. That was a good scene. Because it showed
how powerful classic Loki is.
Yeah, what he could do, and it showed his powers. It showed he could like create all kinds of like illusions and all.
Yeah, like big buildings and stuff. Yeah. That was good. That was cool.
Classic Loki ends up sacrificing himself.
He did.
And that's where he says glorious purpose. Because classic Loki at some point ended up giving up, you know, in what he was doing.
He just slowed down the cloud monster.
Yeah, and he helps them out and gives them time to enchant the purple cloud monster.
So after they do that, Loki and Sylvie kind of have to team up and do it, because Loki, she told him to use the enchanted power. He said, I can't do that. He said, yes you can, and you're Loki.
But yeah, also the classic Loki showed that they're capable more.
So they end up both using their enchant powers and dissipating the cloud. So the cloud goes away, then they reveals a castle.
That's what Sylvie had seen earlier when she first landed and when she was running away from the cloud monster. She had kind of seen earlier that
because it got close enough to where she can feel it.
Yeah, she touched the cloud.
Yes.
Yeah, from there, I mean that was it.
That pretty much that was the end of the episode when the castle was revealed.
Yeah, and then we jump into
episode 6.
For all time, always. Loki and Sylvie finally get to meet the real Timekeeper.
Yes. They approach this castle.
Well, the door's open.
Yeah, the door open by itself. Yeah. And then King the Conqueror, he who remains, comes out. He just laughing and eating an apple.
Yeah, I don't understand what the whole point was about.
I think the whole point of that is showing it's like I'm so powerful, I don't need no weapons. I can come out eating the apple. I'm not really scared of y'all. He explains that he knows everything. He knows what's going to happen. And of course, they don't believe him at first.
Well, he did. He did up to a certain point. At least according to what he said.
Yes. I mean, after a certain point, he did say that.
Because he told them and he showed them exactly everything that's going to go down, right?
And he even had like some papers that was written.
Everything that's going to happen.
They said.
And they didn't believe him.
They still didn't believe it.
They thought he was full of shit. Who wouldn't?
Sophie or Sylvie. Especially Sylvie.
Yeah. But who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? You know, somebody tells you, hey, you're gonna do this or you're gonna do that because time wills it, right?
Yeah. But I think Loki ended up believing him first because he
did, yeah.
Yeah, he witnessed this like when he first got to the Timekeepers, how they was already, every time he said something, they had a paper that printed out and it showed that everything he said up to that point. So I think that's kind of all the stuff that's happened to him along the way kind of shaped him to be able to believe what King the Conqueror was saying. Otherwise, when Sylvie didn't believe him at all.
There's a reason why she didn't believe him, because Sylvie ended up getting kidnapped by the TVA when she was a little girl. And ever since that moment, she wanted to take revenge on whoever the hell was behind all this shit. She didn't care. Like, she did not care who.
She's savage.
Yeah, she's just like, no, I'm gonna chop some heads. I'm here to chop some heads. For real. Right? That was her whole thing. And Loki, he believed Kang ended up saying what Kang, because like you said, based on what he had seen, right? But Sylvie, she is so stubborn. I'm just getting revenge because of what happened.
She's not even thinking about what Kang is actually saying. He's saying if you kill me, it's gonna be worse off. He's gonna have other variants. So he even explained all his different variants. And he said, if you kill me, these variants are gonna come.
Well, he also said it. You can kill me, and I'll be replaced, or I'll come back. Whatever. Yeah. I'll come back regardless.
He come back with as a different variant that's even meaner. He said you don't want to even meet the other variants of him. Yeah. So of course she still doesn't believe it. She thinks it's a manipulation. Yeah. That he's just trying to.
Sylvie and Loki end up fighting.
Yes, them and Loki are fighting because
it was a showdown.
Loki believes him, but Sylvie's still trying to kill him. And Loki, again, ended up losing to Sylvie because she pushes him in a transporter. Using her powers to push him in there. When he went back to the Timekeepers, Sylvie kills Kang and it changes everything. Kang's already been saying that if you kill me, everything gonna change. Like
in the background, you see the timeline, the sacred timeline. At first, it was kind of looking linear, and then when she did that, it just like branched off like crazy.
So all the different all the different Kangs timelines started.
But I thought,
then Loki, once he's back at the headquarters, and he tried to go. He sees Mobius and B-15.
What happens to Sylvia after that point?
Sylvia, once she kills Kang, she pretty much just sits. She sits there, and she wants to get an Indian style. She wants to go sit down, and pretty much that's pretty much after that. They didn't really show her. It kind of went to where Loki was. He was back at headquarters. He went to go talk to Mobius to tell him what's going on.
Yeah, because that's what I was trying to figure out. What the hell happened to Sylvie after that point?
They don't show it. Yeah, they don't show what happens to her. It just shows what happens to Loki.
Yeah, Loki goes back to the TVA, right?
Yeah, he tells Mobius and B-15 that, hey, it's something going on, and it's telling about this guy named He Who Remains.
Yeah, Kang the
Conqueror.
Right.
But they were like, what are you talking about? Who are you? Yeah, they didn't even know who he was.
So that's what I'm saying. That's why. Okay, so I thought that he got sent into a whole different timeline because Mobius already knows what's happening, right? In the original timeline of where Loki was involved, at least this Loki was involved, Mobius already knew, and the TVA already knew because they had figured out what happened, right? But in this one that he got sent to, they don't know what the hell's going on. They don't even know who Loki is.
But technically, you're right. It is a new timeline. But this new timeline was created because she killed Kang.
I thought he should have got sent back to the timeline that he was in, not into this random new timeline. Because at the end of it, they show Kang, a statue of Kang, right? That statue was not there, not supposed to be there, was my thought process. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, so I think just the fact that Kang got killed, that all that stuff started happening. And the time just kind of wiped to where it showed that Kang is now the person in charge of, I mean, it's known that he's the person of the Timekeeper, I guess. Because he even got his statue there, like you mentioned.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because nobody knew who the Timekeepers were. Before that, they showed the other guys. They showed 3 statues of what they thought.
Yeah, but that's in that timeline, though.
Yeah, so no, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, so it's a different timeline.
Okay, all right. So
yeah, so
he got sent to.
That's why I said when he got killed, I think that you saw. Man, you said you saw all those different timelines start developing.
Yeah, so she just kicked them off into a whole different.
It's one of those timelines that he's on now.
Well, all right, but that could have gotten a little bit better explained because that confused the shit out of me when that happened, right? Because him and Mobius had a good connection. If he went back to where he was supposed to be at or where he was at, right? Mobius would have known who he was.
If it was in the original one, yes. So that did kind of prove that he's in a different timeline now, where they don't even know who he is. But so that pretty much ends episode 6, which is the final episode of season 1.
Well, this goes into Ant-Man and the Quantumania, Quantum Theory. The last one was all about Kang and the quantum realm, right? And that Kang, he ended up talking about how he killed the Avengers, whatever, and they ended up taking him out, right? And the end of that scene is where you get that scene of all the Kangs in the arena, where they assemble all the Kangs.
So all the Kangs, that's I think from when...
Because they found out...
remains.
Yeah, got killed. There's like, hey, meaning... Loki and Sylvie killed Kang, or He Who Remains. So that means that all that shit was supposed to happen to a certain degree, according to what they were talking about, right? Because in Doctor Strange and Multiverse, you see where his effects cause the timeline to branch off, right?
Right.
But I don't understand that because also in that one, that's when we get to Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron at the end of that one, she appears.
Yeah.
They're on.
Yeah, she gets.
And she's like, yeah, you messed up.
Yeah, come fix this.
Yeah, but they didn't really explain any, or they didn't show too much of what was supposed to happen there.
Okay, so now we're going to jump into the conclusion. So what do you have any likes and dislikes you want to talk about?
Oh, I got all kinds of dislikes. All right, well, all right, go ahead. Like your likes.
What I liked about it, I liked the story arc of Loki, how you can tell how he started as like this selfish guy in the beginning, all for himself. And then by the end of the show, he turns into like almost like an anti-hero to where he's still trying to do good now. He's looking out for more than just himself now. So that's what I like about it. I can't really think of something. Only thing I can say I didn't like about it was something I heard on another review I heard. We don't really know what happened to Judge Rainslayer. They don't really show what happened to her. They just show her going to a time warp
through a door,
and then you never heard mention anything else about what she went to.
Well, she went on vacation.
Yeah, but how we know that?
Well, her vacation.
She said she was.
No, her vacation time crewed up. So.
Well, she said that she was gonna go to. She said she was going to trying to do research.
No. They kind of mentioned that earlier. So, cause remember she was talking to that clock lady.
Oh yeah,
the hologram clock lady, and she wanted to know. Renslayer asked her for files up until that point, right? Kang ended up sending her certain files. That means that Renslayer, that judge lady, she has file that we don't know about. At least not yet that we don't know about. So I think they kind of left her story arc to be figured out for later. Maybe we'll figure out season 2.
I think so.
Right? That's why I think they left it vague.
Yeah, it was a big cliffhanger.
Yeah, but I think that little chunk has something to do with what might happen with Kang later down the road, or
I can see that.
A whole nother different little thing.
Okay. Well, go on and say what you disliked and liked about it.
One thing I did dislike. So Loki is supposed to be a frost giant, right?
Yes.
So when they took his magical powers away, wasn't he supposed to become a blue guy? Because he couldn't use his powers in the thing. Like, at least I don't know how that works.
Yeah, they don't really explain that. Like even.
Yeah, but fine. That's like a technicality.
Yeah, it's one of them technicalities.
Yeah, right. That's fine. Okay, fine.
That was a petty one that you.
Yeah. That's fine. Okay, that's just some bullshit.
But you're right though.
Okay, that's fine. All right, that's a little small grade. Well, going back to earlier thing I had said about the Tesseract and the Infinity Stones being useless. Now, if from this point onward you're gonna start a whole new branch and you're gonna make the Infinity Stones useless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Okay, that's all right. That's cool. That means you're gonna try to start up into another thing. But you could do it a better way to do it than what they just said. The way they just mentioned and said it is just a paperweight. It's just another thing. And that why I didn't like that is, and I'm not the only one that I think that said that, is because it negates a lot of what the first arc was. You know, going from Iron Man all the way up into Thanos. To me, that was the best of the best.
Right.
I don't know if I had mentioned earlier, if I had brought it up earlier, but for me, all the way up to the Endgame movie, for me, that was it. Anything after that, I don't need to watch it anymore. The story ended right then and there. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. I mean, at the end game, it really was the end game.
Right.
Because before that Marvel universe, because it was a whole nother animal. Then they changed. Things are changed up now. This new thing.
No, okay.
It's definitely not the same thing.
Right. No, okay, fine. If you want to introduce a whole nother thing, or if you want to introduce another element into it, don't be like, yo, everything that built up into this point was just trash, or mock it. I don't know. I guess maybe mock it. Just say it was nothing. Right? Maybe do it a better way than that. Just be like, no, everything that you thought was like the top stuff.
You took about the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, the Infinity Stones. Everything you thought about the Infinity Stones up until this point now is just garbage.
To me, the Infinity Stones not working in TBA just shows how powerful the TVA was. That's probably what they was trying to do.
No, but to just negate it like that.
That's to prove their point of what how they felt about TVA, how everything works different there.
No, but it doesn't, because this guy, Kang, thought.
Yeah, because Kang is the most powerful of all of them.
Kang was trying to write this whole time. I think he knew anything and everything about what was supposed to go on. But even at the end, he said it himself. He was like, no, everything I wrote up and everything I saw was up until this point. Yeah. After that point, he didn't know what the hell was going to happen himself. He said it. So you yourself, that you was trying to build up this whole,
Yeah, because something happened to make, I think, the whole powerful part of Loki and two Lokis there together, kind of, maybe.
Okay. Right. That's fine. Okay, if that was supposed to be a thing, let's say this was supposed to be a thing, it should have been introduced earlier, or it should have been brought up way earlier.
So you don't like the fact that they depowered the Infinity Stone?
Yes.
Well, I understand why.
Why they did that? Was it because now... So it cuts out pretty much from this point. It cuts out the Infinity Stones, right? You can't go back to that anymore. Is what I thought what they were trying to say. From this point on, you can't use the Infinity Stones anymore, right? Because the Infinity Stones were OP. So from this point going forward, in terms of the MCU, you can't use them anymore. That's why they kind of put this scene in to be like, no, these are useless. But I didn't like that because, okay.
I get that. Well, I think that it's just them trying to prove that particular, like the TVA, the lady said that time works different there. And everything is different within the TVA. Yeah, no. Even including the Infinity Stones, like his powers couldn't work there. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense that the Infinity Stones wouldn't work there either, because it takes away all that stuff. It's a neutral zone pretty much. Okay, it neutralize everything. So it's a point why they don't work there.
If the stones don't mean nothing, then what was the point?
But this is kind of like, in a way, it's kind of telling you that this place is probably more important, or more. I don't say like more important, but more is different from whatever that happened before. it shows that this is a neutral zone
Yeah.
between times. So you can't use powers here because they take all the aliens' powers that they capture, and the power, any type of power, even with the Infinity Stones, neutralized because where they at.
Okay, if you're doing that, fine. But maybe try to show it in a better way than...
Yeah, they could have.
You know,
that was more funnier, pretty much. They kind of made a joke out of it in the first.
No, because it's like, it just kind of like, what the hell was the whole point of them going through the first saga if you're just going to say these things are worthless?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much kind of showing that saga is over, too.
Yes,
the Infinity Stones was used for what they were supposed to get used with already.
Yes,
so.
I get that. I get that part. I get, right? That part I get. You just could have done it better. You just could have done it a different way.
Yeah.
It's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody else saw it like that. I think other people kind of reviewed it like that, but I don't 100% remember what they said. Okay, and this is not related to the MCU, but another story that really pissed me off is they had thrown everything away from that was previously already said. It was a great story. It was the characters had been set up and built real nice, and they released a second part to it. And they threw away everything what the characters was before. So it's unrelated to the MCU. I'm just saying.
I get that.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
My point is that I see that point to where they feel like they kind of like downplayed what happened last era or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess I think what they was trying to go for, they didn't want that thing to keep overshadowing what they trying to do now. Like they get that happened, so they trying to move on.
No, that's fine.
If you would have still upplayed it, like all the stuff that happened then people start. You don't want people to focus on that again.
No, that's fine. That's
carry them on to something else.
That's fine. That's fine, right? That's what I don't know.
So they should have did it differently.
Huh?
You saying how they did it?
Well, yeah. No, all right, fine. Okay, if you wanna say, all right, the Infinity Stones thing is done, fine. That's cool. There's no wrong with that,
technically,
right?
they were done because Thanos himself said he used them up.
Just maybe the joke of it was kind of like they hit me wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
And think of it too, and this is probably a different timeline. Infinity Stones.
Well, no, it's a multiple timeline. It's a multi-timeline,
and
right?
they probably got it from multiple timelines where the Infinity Stones wasn't worth crap.
No, but that's not how that worked. Kang set up this whole timeline, right, just for one purpose, for the universe not to destroy itself, right? So Kang did everything up until this point.
What's the point of the multiverse then?
Yes, see?
But I'm saying that's the point of it.
No. So
in different multiverses, different things mean different for something else. They're different things.
No, but according to what Kang has said, everything that he had done or manipulated, so he had manipulated the timeline up until that point so it could go that way, right? Mm-hmm. And he made it to go specifically towards that way.
I have to listen to that again because I remember him explaining it, but I guess I didn't hear that part like that.
I don't know. Maybe I heard differently.
I just thought I see what Marvel is trying to do for us with that, like not really kind of downplaying it because they don't want people to focus on that again. But at the same time, I can still see the other part.
No, but you can't negate that. You can't.
At the other part, you can't
just throw it away like
right,
that.
After they built it up so much.
Because one for one.
I can't even think what they would do then.
No, but okay.
How would you change that?
No, but here's the thing. At least let's say for us that we saw from Iron Man all the way up to this point, it meant something, right? It was this whole thing that we didn't even expect, right? And it built this whole great arc. And okay, if you're gonna try to write something for the next chunk that's supposed to happen, the next set of people that are gonna have to witness it, don't throw away all your old fans just like that.
Mm-hmm. We're hoping the old fans are still watching this new stuff.
Well, yeah, but if you tell your old fans, hey, that shit that we wrote previously didn't mean nothing.
Like I said, I get it.
I don't know.
I get it.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
But it's nothing else they could do. What else could they do?
Maybe not get lazy people to write whatever the hell they wrote for it. Like,
I mean, I couldn't think of another way they can go with that.
Well, neither could I. I'm not a writer.
Not Marvel. They try to, of course, they make a joke out of everything. So for the most part,
yeah.
So they made a joke out of it. I think a lot of people was laughing at that joke. But then, of course, as you've seen, some people hated it. How they were powerful on one end, and then on another end that they're mean.
No, they're just nothing, right?
My life, I get it. I mean, I understand like what you were saying about how Kang was explaining the timeline, but if you just like multiverses, period, like you go to another multiverse,
and it doesn't mean nothing, right?
It's a different Thor. It might be a different Thor. Thor might be this.
Well, no,
in this multiverse.
in one of the timelines, Kid Loki killed Thor. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, but in that timeline too.
Okay, cool.
Maybe
right.
that stuff didn't mean anything in that timeline.
But that's not the timeline that we went through.
But it's the same thing. It's just like Thinning Stones mean something in this timeline, but in this timeline, don't.
No, but
Thor is
to us as watchers and as experiences of the film, right? It means something to us, or at least
I understand that.
It's supposed to mean something.
I understand. I agree with what they did. Okay, I understand it. Why they? I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm not saying that they didn't. What they did was wrong, but I see what they was doing because
No, that's fine. That's cool.
Kid Loki killed Thor in this timeline, but in this time, another timeline, they grew up as brothers.
No, but here's the thing: even the comics couldn't figure out what to do.
Well, when what?
No, whenever they hit a point where they didn't know what to do, they just fucking reset the whole thing, right? They just like reset everything, and they're like, "No, we're starting fresh, right?"
Yeah, DC did the same thing. DC, they did a whole new 52 at one point.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, fine, then do that. Marvel, do that shit if you want to. Like, stop it and be like, Endgame, that was it. Start a whole new thing if you have to start it. I don't know. I don't know.
But they don't want to start a whole new thing.
Cause what? Cause lazy motherfuckers.
No,
cause they won't make money. They're scared of not making. No,
it's supposed to be continuity. It's everything's supposed to.
Yes and no. Look, you get rid of the name Tony Stark. You get rid of Iron Man. You get rid of.
Well, they did that, but he mentioned Tony Stark's in the damn show.
Yeah, but look, you get rid of who's already been there. They built up this whole big thing. And now you just get rid of it and throw it away. They're so scared of losing money But here's the thing. Them being scared of losing money is what's going to make them lose money.
That's fine.
But regardless of that, outside of all that, right? Okay. I do like what they did with Loki because I didn't think it was going to mean anything, honestly. Like I had said earlier. Like, what's the whole point of the show? I don't think I said that, but I'm bringing it up again just in case I didn't. What was the whole point of the show?
It was pretty much just a bridge to bring Kang or bring more Kangs into the storyline.
To my surprise, they did a good job bringing back Loki's character. So they did a good job on it, right? Okay, let's see where it goes from here.
Yeah, so we know Loki season 2 is coming out.
Stay tuned, guys.
Thank you for.
Well, stay tuned. Well, when it comes out, our season 2 review of Loki.
That's right. Season 2 review of Loki. You see it first here.
Yeah.
So please comment, like, and subscribe.
No, man, you gotta subscribe.
And thank you for watching and listening.
All right, later, guys.